Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor? 3 and 2 absent.
Okay,
We're gonna start right off on old business with
Mr. Harrington's not here, he wants it kept on until he can make it, I'll let you know when. That's the issue. He's out of town quite a bit. You want me to keep, I just put it on, I kept it on old business, just so I can keep it there without that being,
Well, do we have to see his name every week? We can just,
well, we can shut it off.
just put it up when you know he's gonna
well, I
come.
mean, we've done it for 2 weeks in a, 2 times in a row.
We'll take it off.
Yeah, just
He
put him
wants it
back,
back on.
when he's ready, put him back on.
What do you,
Well, I don't, you know, I guess he can, I guess we should allow him an opportunity to come and state his case, but I don't think there's much we can do. I mean,
There's not much he can do either.
yeah, I mean, Morris did.
okay, we'll just take his name off for now until he
Yeah.
calls and says he's coming to do it.
Yeah.
We'll add him back.
Yeah, let him, yeah,
I'll let him make the initiative.
That's fine, that's right.
I mean, you know, we're all busy.
All right, next thing is on the new business is health insurance.
Yes. This is, remember we were asked to put out an RFP for health insurance, to see what we could get. We did do that, everyone reviewed, the RFP request, and, we put it out, we had one response, which is our current provider, through the Maine,
MMA.
through Maine Health Trust.
Maine Municipal.
Yeah, Maine Municipal Health Trust. And, you can put the package on your thing, it's essentially, the plan we had last year was a 7% increase. So, Ms. Wright is here, Ms. Wright is here, and if you have any questions, you can ask her. Or she can provide an overview.
Yeah. And I actually brought, so I see that you have the proposal that we did, but I brought a second packet, just because we love these green folders so much, that has some more general information about the trust. If you'd like that, if that would be helpful.
We just love reading material.
And, you know, if your wood stove needs a little fuel this weekend, there you go.
Thank you for the other comments.
Absolutely.
There's one copy for you.
Yep.
Thank you.
So as Denny said, the town currently offers its health insurance through the health trust. You also offer our dental insurance, vision insurance, life insurance, and short-term disability. So everything, it's all one package. The Maine Municipal Employees Health Trust, we are affiliated, we're a part of Maine Municipal Association. The trust itself is a separate legal entity, but everyone who works on the trust matters, we're all employees of MMA. Okay, I'm the director of the health trust, but more important, I'm a resident of Belgrade, so I got to come tonight, which made me very happy, because as I told you, I got that cookbook and I got some good recipes. I'm cooking for you, yeah. I'm cooking for you for the next meeting, apparently. No. Only if, you know, you make the decision after you have the cooking, but. So right now, the town offers 2 of our health plans, one called the PPO 1500, one called the PPO 2500. And all of the employees who are enrolled in the health, there's 8 of them, and they're enrolled in what's called the PPO 2500 plan. That's a plan with a $2,500 deductible, and then pretty much everything else is covered at 80%, and the employee pays 20% co-insurance up to an out-of-pocket maximum. It also provides full prescription drug coverage with copays, 5-tier copays for prescription drugs. With that, the town offers what's called a health reimbursement arrangement, which is offered through Group Dynamic. And that is an arrangement where if an employee does have expenses that go towards their deductible or co-insurance, the HRA is funded by the town and will cover those expenses, will reimburse the employee for those expenses. It's a way of, by choosing the lowest cost plan that the health trust offers, you save money on premium, but to protect the employees, if they have, for example, if someone had to go into the hospital and they met their deductible, the town would use those premium savings to help reimburse the employee for those deductible expenses. It's what a lot of municipalities have started doing, because that really offers the best cost to the town, but also by providing that reimbursement offers best benefits to the employee. Along with that, as I said, you offer dental, vision, life, and disability. Employees have the option to choose which plans they want to enroll in. They can enroll in all of them. They can pick and choose which ones are best for them. The Health Trust has been in existence for 35 years, offering insurance to its members. The packet that I just gave you provides you with a summary of who we are in the Health Trust, how we're structured, and a 10-year history of our average rate adjustment. You know, you hear about health insurance going up 25, 30, 40% in premium increases each year. When you look at that 10-year average adjustment for the Health Trust, it's averaged 7 to 8% over 10 years. I mean, obviously that's a big increase from 10 years ago, but it still keeps your rate adjustments moderate every year, so it's within the single digits. And I would say you won't find that in any health insurance, for-profit health insurance company in the state. Part of the way we can do that is because we're a nonprofit. You know, we're affiliated with Maine Municipal. There's no profit motive to us. We don't have shareholders or stockholders or anything like that. So we run a really lean operation. Our administrative costs for the Health Trust as a whole are less than 5% of our expenses in any given year. Normally, health insurance companies can charge 15 to 20% on administrative costs. So by being with the trust, you're automatically saving some money in your premium costs because the administrative costs are so low. When our actuary goes to set rates every year, they'll look back at a prior 24 months of claims experience and project that forward and say, what do we think claims will be in the upcoming year? And then add a percentage on for trend to determine the next year's rate adjustment. And that's how we've been able to keep rate adjustments low, by keeping admin costs low, by running a solid plan, and by making sure we offer wellness programs to help keep our employees and their family members healthy. The town has been a member of the Health Trust, God, I think for as long as I've been with the Health Trust, which is almost 20 years. So it is a solid benefits package. From what we hear, the employees appreciate having these benefits. We at the Health Trust do our best to provide the most customer service we can to our members, partly by doing things like doing education for the employees to explain benefits, but also by having a staff of dedicated service representatives who answer the phones when your employees call with questions. So they're not calling some big company that they don't know who they're going to get and they have to leave a message and wait for someone to call them back. We have service reps right in Augusta who pretty much know almost all of our members, just because when they call, they get the same 4 people who are answering their calls for them and answering their questions. There's a lot of information that I could give you. Health insurance is, of course, the most fascinating topic in the world. Right? Yeah. And so I'm not sure how much information you'd like to hear about the benefits. You know, the town is not looking to change the plan that it's offering at this point. Just you needed to know about the rate increase, and I think it's good that the town looked to see if there were any other options. But at this point, I would say that the most solid and best benefits for your employees are probably the plans that you're offering right now, because it does give them really strong coverage and it gives them choices on what they want to enroll in. Were there particular areas that I could address for you or tell you about the Health Trust?
A question from Denny, actually, a couple of questions. You aware of any problems with the plan?
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah, no complaints from the employees?
No. I do have to make a comment. The dental, vision, these other plans that are offered to the employees, the town doesn't pay. Those are paid by the employee. Just to make it clear, so people thinking.
Right.
Yeah. The other issue is, I think it was good to go out and look, but I don't think you could find, or could you find, any comparable health coverage for the cost we're getting through the Maine Health Trust. So
I think to sort of to take up on that, I actually got a call from another municipality yesterday. A municipality with probably about the same number of employees you have, and they're not currently with the trust. So they engaged a broker to go out and look at what different plans they could offer. And they were looking at our PPO 2500, which is what you have, and then this broker was looking at other companies, and the one that was the closest benefits and closest premium was still $200 a month more than ours. What happens in the individual market, if you go out and it's a small group with fewer than 50 covered employees, is the insurance carriers can actually age band the rates so that if it's an employee's in their 50s, they may be paying more than an employee who's in their 20s. With the health trust, all of our employer groups with 50 or fewer covered employees, and we have about 450 of those, are all part of the same pool. So your premiums are the same regardless of whether you have one covered employee in Caribou, well, no, Caribou's too big, but Fort Kent,
Northville.
yeah, or 25 covered employees in York County. All the premiums are same and all the claims experience is spread out among that entire group. So there's no sort of age banding, there's no geographic differences in premiums. You're all part of a large pool. And what that does is help to spread the risk and keep the group much more stable when it comes to premium increases or adjustments each year. Or aging employees. And in this particular group, the employee's average age was in the 60s. So the premiums were far higher. You may have a group that if you have employees only in their 20s, premiums may be lower, but the possibility of that, fluctuating is far greater if you're out in the insurance market than if you're with the trust, where we're a very stable organization.
Well, what are we
Well,
to vote
what I
on this,
wanted
or-
you to do is know one, that we only got one response, so you would have to accept that or deny that.
Yeah.
So I would encourage you to vote to accept the response. I'll tell them, maybe this one night first.
Yeah.
And the other purpose was to basically enable you to hear from Ian and ask any questions you want.
Do we have the funding for the extra 7%?
Well, that's good, that's what goes into the budget every year. We did that last year, we'll have it this year. If you choose to do it.
Well, I mean, I guess we don't have a choice, and, we didn't get a lot of bids back,
Yeah.
sure.
And what I wanted to do is be able to answer your questions, because health insurance is one of those topics that's really complicated for people. And yes, the rates increase every year. And that's, that can be difficult for employers and for employees. But we can provide you with the reasons. And when you look at the fact that over a 10-year period, it's been an average single-digit increase. When we talk to our insurance benefits advisor, he has clients that have seen 20 and 30, 40% increases, especially in the small group market. So I think it's important to know how we set our rates, and that it is this large pool of about 20,000 covered lives or covered members that the experience is spread out among, as opposed to being a small group where, if you have a couple of large claims, it can really impact your experience and impact your rates. With this large group, you have a lot of stability. And there's a lot of history with the trust, too, that we've been able to keep our rate adjustments low over the years. Part of it is changing benefits. We do that every few years. But that's a way to make sure that the rates for everybody stay at a reasonable level. And sometimes you have to increase the out-of-pocket cost for those people who use the benefits so that the rates for everyone in total can stay at a more reasonable level.
Jack?
Yeah, I'm Jack Sutton, I'm on the budget committee.
Hi, how are you?
Are there many municipalities that are members of this group?
Yep, the Health Trust.
And some in this area?
Yes. So the Health Trust, we provide benefits to about 475 different employer groups around the state. We only provide benefits to groups in Maine. They're either municipalities or counties or quasi-municipal districts like water and sewer, sanitary districts, libraries, and we have a few nonprofit entities. But that's That's our complete market. So in Maine, I believe that we cover, I'm gonna give you round numbers, something like 240 municipalities out of the 490. Part of the ones that we don't cover, there's a lot of municipalities that don't have any eligible employees. So in order to be eligible, an employee has to work a minimum of 20 hours a week. Some municipalities don't have employees that work that many hours. And then there are a couple of very large municipalities like Portland and Bangor. Portland is self-insured, so it's large enough to have its own insurance on its own. Bangor's not with the trust. But most of the other municipalities, Oakland is a member of the Health Trust, Waterville, Augusta, Rome, Reedfield, yes, Reedfield is, Fayette, Mount Vernon. So most of them are members of the Health Trust.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Anybody else got any other questions?
Motion.
Yeah, we entertain a motion. Seems we only got one.
Yeah,
Just before you go, the reason why I didn't pull the group together was gonna review this, because we only got one.
But you know, when you've got the best,
Yeah.
that's the only one you need.
Sure sounds like it. Okay,
So I'd entertain a motion.
yeah,
take it.
wanna do it, then.
Don't fight over it. Just-
I'm yielding to him, I'll second it.
All right, go.
I make a motion, we accept the proposal from the Maine Municipal Health Employees Health Trust for town health insurance.
I'll second it.
Any more discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? 3 and 2 absent. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I really
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Take it easy on the way home.
I will, thanks. And we appreciate continuing to work with the town. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
27, yeah, I'm pulling up 8 and 11. I've heard that's not so good either, so, okay,
We,
thank you.
we're gonna go into the new business, and the next section is,
Happy cookie petitions.
Thank you very much.
petitions, yes.
I'll come to the next
Yeah,
meeting.
we had 4 petitions ready to process for you to vote on. They were, all of the signatures were reviewed, and they had the sufficient signatures, and the signatures were all verified. The first is in your book here, it's a referendum.
Senior spec. in there.
So you can look at it, decide whether you want to accept it or not. It's petitioned, so you do have to accept it if you find that the wording and all that is appropriate.
I think if they've got all the signatures and it's written right, no question.
We have to do each one separately?
I would say yes.
So
So do we wanna,
wait for Mike or?
I guess we'll have to.
kinda gotta,
So, just while there's some signs, you said that 827 was bad?
Really, that was coming slow, and, I mean, really, you can't stop.
yeah,
It's
The
really,
state hasn't been out there.
yeah, they're all.
they're out, but it's not, I mean, it's just slush, you know, you just slide.
You can't steer in this stuff, they're trying to plow, you just slide right now. I mean,
It's really,
so
I
much
was
slip.
surprised, yeah.
I'm gonna wait for it to get cooler.
Yeah.
They'll plow a lot better.
I've only seen one plow truck on Depot Road all day.
Yeah, they've been out, I've talked to them a couple
The
times.
Warner Brothers were out, we know that they were.
I only saw one all day long.
Well, I don't know, I'm just
I
saying.
don't know. I've been there since.
Until
4
like
hours,
4:30, the roads were almost clear.
I was talking to a guy up in Mercer there, and I guess, was it the Howard Brothers used to do that for years and years and years? And they give it up now. And so the first gentleman up there is plowing with a 1-ton and a pickup
Up in Mercer.
in Mercer.
Yeah, but you want, oh, no, I've been on this. I'll tell you after. I can't even believe it.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Not
late,
good.
and it's winter.
No. This
He
is
was
not
asking me
kosher.
if I thought the Warren Brothers would be able to come up and do Mercer too.
All right, we're on, Spectrum Generation, yes? Petition, and, it's been counted, and all the names are great. So I didn't entertain a motion to accept this.
I'll move.
Move, so I have a second?
Second.
Been moved and seconded, any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? 3 and 2 absent, thank you.
So
Next, go ahead.
second petition is the one for, the Lakes Association, it's the same as last. Again, the signatures were verified, counted,
Okay. I'd entertain a motion on this one.
Move to approve it.
Second.
The moved and seconded. Any discussion on it? Is that a no?
No.
Seeing none, all in favor? 3 and 2 absent? Is that the next one, Dan?
The next petition is the hospice petition, similar to last year. Signatures were counted, verified. They're asking $1,500, I believe it's the same as last year.
Do I hear a motion on that?
So moved.
Second.
The moved and seconded, any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? 3 and 2 absent. On the next one?
The next petition is a petition for the revote on Article 5 of last year's town meeting warrant. That's for the issue of the full-time librarian. The signatures have been verified and counted. The one question I'll raise, and I don't believe it's a big issue, but that's up to you to decide. And that's in the question as it was presented to the signers of the petition. It did say that the referendum question is to be presented at the November general election. Now, it doesn't say what years, what could be the upcoming year, November general election, but I believe the intent, if I'm not mistaken, was because the referendum wasn't ready, or wasn't, I'm not quite sure.
Well, I could explain that. Basically, we had almost enough signatures, and I didn't finish it off because the more we thought about it, it's better to have it in the budget rather than, we knew this was gonna be a big election year. To have that on the ballot would have been just a real harassment for the town, one thing. And it really, as far as the people signing it, their only interest was to just have a revote. And the other thing, I know that the select board actually sets when it's gonna be voted on as far
Right,
as.
the select board
We could have asked for November, but they still could have put it off until the March meeting, which I think is better for the town.
Okay, go ahead.
As I understand it, we're thinking of putting the budget on just a single figure. But the budget is after we combined it with Article 5 last year.
Yeah, that's because
So this-
currently
Yeah, this is calling for a revote of Article 5. Does that mean we're gonna be voting just on that part of the budget? This is only gonna cover.
as I understand this budget, it's to rescind the position of a full-time librarian.
Okay.
So if the article with the full-time librarian budget is in the, which is currently there, if this were to be approved, this petition, we'd still have sufficient money, we just wouldn't spend that portion that would be allocated to the full-time librarian.
That's the way it needs to be done.
Well, would there be, in the past, there was a separate article for if this didn't pass, then,
We still have the contingency article because no one knows if the full, just like the Center for All Seasons, either one of those, if they fail, then you would have to close down the facility. So that article will be in the warrant as well.
in your preface statement here, it said if we have any questions about the wording of the warrant articles, we can have a legal review done by MMA. And I'm wondering if, you know, this is a little bit confusing, and perhaps some of these people that signed these didn't, you know, weren't clear on what date it was gonna be done. I don't know, should we table it until we have a legal review done?
We can have MMA look at it. Looking at it, the board has the authority to accept or deny the petition based on the wording. And you have it, with the agreement of the petitioners, I believe, you have the authority to just drop that last sentence. I believe the intent of the petition is clear, but it does raise the legal question of, did the signers understand that the petition was to be voted on in November? The question is November of 2018, the 19th, it's not clear. So, and then the point that Ernie made is that in fact, the intent, his intent would have been to have it on this election, but he deferred, thinking it would be better at this spring meeting, so. But that is a point that you can contest.
Sure.
I'd like to point out two things. First of all, when I was on the select board, we had a couple of petitions that the wording was a little bit ambiguous, and we had researched by legal, MMA, and we also had our legal people review. As long as the intent is clear, it is clear, and the wording of the article is how you feel it should be worded. Second thing I'd like to point out is that the article, I would suggest, would have to have the dollar amount associated with full-time position for a full year. Because if it's not approved, then you're gonna have to have, in March, the voters at town meeting are gonna have to approve the 3 months that have already been spent. So I think the number has to be there of the cost of a full-time librarian in order for them, for that increase for the full-time position. That's, I would say that the voter has to see what that number is. And then it's not, if they don't approve it, that isn't a part of the budget, and then town meeting, you have to approve those 3 months at town meeting. Well, pay for those months that were paid.
Again, as I understand it, we can have this checked out by legal. The budget is, we're authorized to spend up to 1/4 of the budget in the first 3 months. Currently, the current town has voted to accept a full-time librarian throughout, at the last budget meeting, or the last annual meeting. So the sense would be that, at least my sense, but we have to research that, is that it would be good through the town meeting, and if this would pass, then it would, going forward to the town meeting, and that would be the amount of money that we would assign to, lose out of the budget, so to speak, out of that. Not expend out of the full-time librarian for a year, we lose that 9 months. So we have it in the budget, it's just that we would expend it. And so I think that's a fair reason.
I guess I'd like to respond to that is the fact that every year we have, it's just like that with the center. That budget is passed, okay? But if it didn't pass, then there has to be a vote on the floor of the town meeting
You continue
to approve the first 3 months.
It's
So that has to be part of the, if it doesn't show in there, you still have, even though the person is working here and it's been approved, but you have authority to spend that money, but you don't have authority to spend that money if they deny full-time positions. So then you have to get the authority on the floor of the town meeting.
Right,
Because of the
and
rest
that would
of
be
the
a
year is
contingency
gone.
article.
That would be a contingency article, but the article, as far as the full-time position goes, has the full number attached to it. But you check with legal on that.
Yeah, I'll check on that.
So I guess I make a motion that we table
Well, I have
it
a
until check.
question.
Yeah.
I have a question. The part about November is not the only part about this, the way this is written. It says question 5. This may not be question 5 again in next year's. It seems like the whole top of this needs to be completely rewritten.
It refers to question 5 of the last town meeting,
Yes,
and that's clear.
and that's clear, and it's not necessarily gonna be question 5 of next year's meeting.
No, but that's,
Didn't say that.
Yeah, this-
So we would be voting next year on something that already happened this year, and the people signed a petitions thinking it was going to be reviewed this year, not next year.
I think,
I'm just
as I read it,
I'm sorry, but I
Diane,
was letting her finish.
did you want to, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
No, I'm just confused where.
I was letting her finish her
Was
statement before.
No, I just wanted some clarification.
Yeah, as I understand it, it's referencing the article in the annual meeting last year, so it references that, and it wants to have a revote on that article.
Right.
And this article is pretty clear as to what the revote is, that's a full-time librarian. So I don't think it's a problem, but again, when we check with legal, I'll ask those
Well,
questions.
just for
clarity's
clarification,
sake.
because people get very confused.
Yeah.
And it just seems like it would have been so much more straightforward to write this differently,
Yeah.
that,
we'll get clarification.
What have we got for time before this has gotta be in?
Well, these articles by petition, we're supposed to have them in by December 1st, but you don't vote on them until, we're gonna discuss when you wanna vote for the budget, but we still have time on these articles to resolve them through the public hearing in January, which will be, I think we generally hold that the first or second week in January. So until the week and a half, 2 weeks, is it 2 weeks that we have to put up on the public hearing, or 1 week? So either 1 or 2 weeks. So we have 2 weeks prior to that public hearing, that we have to have the actual language.
I just wanna get this done.
Well, I'll do it before then. I'm just saying, you do have a fair amount of time.
We don't need to keep,
Well,
I guess one last thing I'd like to insert is remove Ernest Race as far as the petition. 177 people signed that petition to have a revote. You do what you want to do with it. 177 people that you represent.
I see that.
Votes in
I'm fine.
November.
Yeah, you know, my statement is, you have every right to believe, the way you want to, and have this petition. But when this was voted on, the majority of people, and in this case it was a majority of people, it wasn't a huge majority, but it was a majority that voted for the full-time librarian. And so, well, you say, these 172 people, I guess, we work for them and all that kind of stuff. We do, but we also work for the people that supported this. And so I just want to be fair to both sides. You have a right to this, and I don't want to shoot that down. But if it's confusing, and I didn't write the article, and if it is, the wording is confusing a little bit to some people, much more so than these past articles that we just passed that were very, straightforward. I don't see what the harm would be in getting a legal opinion about it to make sure that we're doing the right thing. I mean, that's all. That'd be fair to you, that'd be fair to them. I don't think we have to necessarily go back and get all new. I wouldn't want anybody to go get new signatures or anything like that. I'm not turning the petition away. I just want it to be done clearly.
Just one last.
She's got the floor, you said to be quiet.
We spoke to everybody that signed this petition, and that didn't sign the petition. There was a number of people that did not want to sign it. And we made it clear that this was just a revote that was from Article 5. I don't think anyone misunderstood that. They may have expected it in November, but they still knew they had signed a petition for a revote. I think that's the basic information that you need to do. How exactly it needs to be written, you folks have the experience writing the articles. But the intent was clear to us, was clear to the people who signed it. We are signing for a revote on this action, period.
Ernie, did you want to go
One
next?
last thing. We came before the board, there was 5 of you here, and we was given clear instructions that our options were to do a petition. That was last spring.
For a revote.
For a revote. And that's what we did, petition for a revote. So you do what you want to do.
Mike?
I'm not as concerned about the possible confusion about the date, when it first came up and what you're because you have a question on the ballot that says, you want to rescind whatever the figure was, I don't know what the figure was, 20 grand or whatever it was. I'm more confused, I'm seeing more potential for confusion, which can be corrected by the way we write the ballot, or write the question. The people are going to misunderstand what they're being asked to do. The question is, do you want to rescind the amount of money that was raised for a full-time librarian and more hours? And I don't remember what that number was.
22,000.
22,000, figured you'd know. So,
Well, roughly, but I mean,
Yeah.
the thing is, it isn't, the petition isn't to rescind the 22,000. The petition is to rescind full-time library.
Correct.
It doesn't have anything to do with the $22,000.
well, in that case, the question ought to be,
Because that's already been spent and approved.
in that case, the question should simply be, do we want to rescind the full-time librarian position?
Well, I think that's how I read it, but I will get clarification and that'll resolve that issue. I'll get clarification on the November, which I don't think it's a big deal. And we'll bring it back. I'll work with Bernie to make sure that whatever language is changed, and with the library, whatever language is changed, everyone understands it. And then we'll bring it back for final consideration of how to do it. Is that fair?
Yeah, that works.
You happy with that? Everybody?
I'm happy with it. No, I feel very comfortable. I know what we've been through with
Yep.
legal before, and I know the intent of that is very clear as to how it needs to be presented to the voter, that it can be worked out the exact word.
Okay, I entertain a motion to table this until we get legal.
I make that motion.
Second.
No, go ahead.
No, I want a second. I think we can vote on it tonight.
I do too.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded. Any more discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Oh, I'm voting against it.
You voting against table?
Yeah.
Okay.
I thank you for your time. And
I think
look
take it easy.
forward- I
We
look
need
forward
to-
to- yeah, you guys are definitely here, this slippery out there, really bad.
Yeah, I think we're fine.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
You too.
All right. Go ahead, you wanna do the next one? Is
Yeah, the
on-
next issue is on libraries. They are going to purchase new libraries. They went out to bid. They didn't have to go out to bid for the town. The library decided to go out to bid. It shows the winning bidder, but they come to the board to request the use of funds from their accounts. So library fund and, so Janet's here to kind of explain it.
You do have money in every account, correct?
We do indeed. We are, I would almost say desperately in need of updating our computers. We have one that's dead entirely in the box, waiting to figure out what we're going to do. We have another one that, we have two that we can't print from because the memory in them isn't big enough to load the drivers to connect to our printer. Our main circulation computer crashed for the third time yesterday. They're really old. They're at least 6 years old at this point. All of our laptops are 7 years old. We have one of our main staff computers that has Windows XP, which was discontinued in 2014. So everything's old, everything's slow, we're having issues. We really need to upgrade, not only for staff, but for our patrons. We have a lot of folks that are coming up, especially in the summers, that are still trying to run their businesses down in Virginia and Carolina. We have our programs going on, like our Minecraft computer gaming program. We need to update. The recommendation for replacing technology is 3 years. Every 3 years it should be updated. Ours, like I said, is at least 6, and some of them are 8 or 9 years old. We do have the funds. We went through the process. I have approval from Melanie to use the funds on this purpose. If you guys let us do it, she's okay with it. I checked with Bernice, the auditor, she says it's okay. Carrie Castaway, the past town manager, also gave us the okay to do this. We, after talking with Melanie, she suggested that we put it out for an RFP so that we could give her responses. We got 2 responses back, 2 bids back. I looked at them, I talked with Jared about them, I talked with the technology person at the state library about them also, took them before the trustees, and they picked one of the bids to recommend that we proceed forward with. And I'm coming now to ask for you to be able to do that. We'd like to close out our capital reserve account for the funds from that and take the remaining of it from the library carryover account. And yes, there are funds we need.
I'm in favor of this. I was on the library board. I heard the story, but it was Exponet, and the other company was what now?
Main technology.
Main Technology. And when we looked this over and made the comparison between the 2 companies, this one had a better warranty and help me.
This one has a warranty with all the computers, the other one did not. This one is better quality computers, the other one did not. This one was very clear about what we would be getting from memory for speed and whatnot. The other one was up to
And this,
such a speed up to, but it didn't actually say what it was. This one, the labor charges to come in and set it up is significantly less.
Yeah.
This one has the professional Windows program on it, where the other one had just the home-based one.
sure. So there's a lot of areas. The reason I heard you said there, Rick, the reason Carrie is in this little thing is because that's how long they've been studying this.
We've been working on this for about 2.5 years.
Yeah, so I mean, they've been working on this for some time.
We at one point had a proposal ready to go.
Yeah.
Using the old Windows 7 system,
Mhm.
but Windows 7 is no longer supported.
Mhm.
So we had to kind of throw that out and start over again.
So, I know that the staff and the, library board have done their homework on this and looked at all the angles, and I make a motion that we, allow them to make this purchase and upgrade their computers and use their funds for that purpose, and get this done. Something I've been trying to do for a long time.
1 second.
Yeah, I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. Any more discussion on this? Seeing none, all in favor? Thank you. Good work.
I have a
Great.
question, town manager.
Oh, now he's got a question.
Well, it doesn't interfere with the vote,
No, I'm just giving
and
you
it would have interfered perhaps with the vote if I asked before. There's a paragraph in here on the second page, after consideration of all the bids. You see what I'm talking about? It says that, normally when we put a bid out, where do the bids go? They come back to you, don't they?
No, well, this actually went back to the library because they're using their funds, their cap reserves and stuff. I didn't put the bid out.
But still should come to you.
That's
That's fine.
That's the thing, I just wanna make sure that the proper procedure is followed. And normally on all the other bids, if we put the road bid out, it goes to you. We put,
I get that, but, okay, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
All right, when the issue of a bid came up, I should just have the library go out, they know what they're looking for.
Yeah.
So that was just my take on it, so.
Well,
If you want the bids to go through me, no,
Well, it just should.
Well, I think in this,
I don't have a problem with the fact, they're the ones that
I get that.
most qualified to write the RFP. They know what they want, you're right there. All I'm saying is when the bids come back, they should come back here, they should be opened the way we do all of them. And the statement here that they wanna waive formality, you don't waive formalities on something like this. And that shouldn't happen again.
I get the sense that it was sort of delegated to them.
Yeah, that's
You-
the way I was.
If
I
the
kept
town,
trying to find some format, some example to go by, and Melanie, Alexander and I, she kind of gave me an outline and kind of filled things in as it went. That particular one, that's her wording, and I just kind of went with it.
Yeah. I mean,
I
similarly
apologize
to,
if I misstepped in any way.
No, I'm not looking to chastise anybody. I'm just
We
wanna
just
make
don't
sure.
wanna open up a can of worms.
I
Proceed.
got it.
procedure, we got it,
Thank you.
And don't-
Very good work, ladies,
yes,
gentlemen.
Thank you.
amen.
That's so exciting.
All right, we're gonna move right on. If you're done, we're gonna go on loading municipal truck with sand and salt.
Okay, well, just a brief background. As you know, over the years, Gary and I think Scott, both, when they were using the truck, they went up to the salt pile at one time, and now the salt sand shed. And they were allowed to use the loader that the Warner Brothers had up there to load the salt sand from. One, because they could operate it, two, because they were trusted by the Warner Brothers. But there's a couple issues with that. If they were to have broken, or they had an accident, or someone had been injured with that, probably would have fallen back under them. So I had a concern about that. Less when we hired him and Gary left. Less when he can't operate the loader, although I think he would be quickly trained, but he can't operate the loader. But nor do I think the Warner Brothers would have had the comfort of how we do it. So I believe that whatever's the case, we really should provide our own capability to do this loading and stuff, and not depend on the Warner Brother or their equipment, unless we're paying for it. And we're not. So, it's not specified in the salt sand contract that we can use it at one time. So when Gary left, we're left without the ability to load it. So the proposal, the issue here is how do we load it? There's a couple ways you can do it. You can go out and rent for the 4 or 5 months that you need it, a skid steer or a tractor, to load it. or in the long term, you can look forward to buying a tractor with a loader and potentially a backhoe, so you can do your own grave digging and all that we currently do by hiring them. So, I put those options out, to you. The cost, I think, for purchasing a tractor, the cab, and a ditch, the backhoe, and all that, is about $49,000. Without the backhoe, or without the cab, it's about 40-some thousand, 43. I've got the three bids here. I think that that's kind of a reach right now. We should look at that a little bit more deeply. But to solve our immediate problems, there's and I put the numbers together here. I think it's, where did I put that sheet?
The one with the tractor?
Yeah, it's about 4,000 for a tractor, about 4,500 for a skid steer, but just to rent it for the months that we need it. That's the estimate. So based on the
Can you load the truck with a skid steer?
Yes.
Okay.
so
Tractor, you got a question on.
so the question is, how do we want to proceed? We gotta give Les the ability to do that.
Let me,
Go ahead.
I thought a little bit about this. I mean, Les came and talked to me,
Yeah, I know.
and they asked me about if I'd rent one. I don't want my tractor in that salt thing up there. Now,
That's what I didn't put that email out.
But that's fine. And I would have probably just let them use it, but. I think we need to do a little more than this, because if I'm reading my mind right, we're gonna have to do something down in Belgrade Lakes on those sidewalks. At some point in time, but we don't wanna go out and buy something that we can't use in both places. So I think that we need to really, my feeling is we rent something right now.
Yeah, that's what.
Just to get us out of the bind right now. But before we go buying any tractor, there's a lot of things you gotta do. I mean, some of them won't reach over the side of the truck.
Right.
Some of them you can't dig a hole with because you can't dig the dirt out to reach the truck. I used a small one and they don't work.
Yeah.
Sounds good, but it doesn't work.
I totally agree with that. I
I
think
just
that
think we need some more homework done on before we purchase anything major like that.
Yeah, well, I'm not recommending the purchase, but I did want to let you know that that's something that we'll be looking at over the next year for the budget. But we do need to resolve the problem.
I do think you're right, to rent something for the time being.
Well, even,
See if it works, for one thing.
Jack,
Would the Warren Brothers load for us if we paid them?
they're doing it now.
They're doing it, but it's not like necessarily, they're not necessarily there when we need the truck loaded.
Do we pay them for doing it
They just-
outside of the snow blowing contract?
They just do it.
They just do it.
But suppose we ask them, how much would it cost for you to do this for us?
The problem is, and it's not coordinated right. What I told us to do, and I probably step out of my bounds a little bit, but I said, you kinda gotta pre-plan a little bit ahead. What I would do is load that truck with salt when they're down there. You're lasting it, I load it with salt, cause you need to do the town office first, you need to do the library, all season. If you've got some salt left, you can take it to the transfer station and go around it. But that's your main thing you need loaded. But when he goes back to get the second load, they may not be there.
Yeah, that's the problem.
You know, he needs to load sand next and they're not there.
That's exactly what we were thinking, Jack.
But, I mean, that's just
How many times has this happened?
quite often.
You mean, what's the question, how many times does it go up there?
A winter, does this happen? Does it happen 10 times? Does it happen 50 times?
Gary's usually out after these guys have already gone home.
And up earlier, well,
Or-
actually in the storm, that's one of them, but when he's cleaning up.
I shouldn't say Gary.
Less.
Gary was, Les is coming out, you know, and we'll help him out. We've got sand that we can bail him out to, but he won't be without it.
It's just, right now, it's a difficult thing for coordination. He was waiting around an hour and a half today to see if he could catch on it. We do need to get something.
There isn't, like when he's an hour away from needing sand, he couldn't call them and have them meet him there for a price. I think that's what Jack's trying to get at. Is that worth entertaining? I mean, you know, I think Jack's trying to get at, correct me if I'm wrong, is that if maybe we could pay the Warren Brothers a figure to have them drive down, load him, instead of renting a unit. I don't
The
know.
biggest thing is, you know, that, I talked to them guys too a little bit.
Sure.
The biggest thing is, you know, they don't wanna drive all the way down from Smithfield to start the load up when it's 20 below zero
I get it.
for 5 minutes.
Yeah, no,
That's what it takes to load the truck.
yeah.
You know, there are some other options.
Yeah.
He could,
Yeah.
town could buy a used farm tractor with a bucket on it to load that truck. They'll reach it. And it's,
Do you know where the used farm tractor is?
there's plenty around. You just go on,
Well, so let's see, our, if we were gonna rent a skid steer, is it this figure, 72.50 for the season, is that what the figure is?
that's kinda what I got out of it, 72.
Yeah, but the tractor was less, I'm trying to find out where
Yeah.
where's
So, I
the
mean-
location of
But
the
the
tractor?
tractor may not reach it, he's gotta take the truck.
So what if we,
Right.
I mean, this time of year, boy, it's gonna be tough to find a motor.
He's found a
used-
tractor already.
Oh, used one?
No, that one to rent,
Oh, yeah, one to rent.
but, you can find them, they're out there.
I mean, this time of year, everybody's trying to buy those for snow removal, right?
Usually, but
Yeah.
when you go on Craigslist or,
Yeah.
I know those, and there's tons of them on there.
Yeah, there are,
But-
There's a loader right there, but the problem is finding somebody to come down at the right time to use it.
Well, they just don't wanna start it, when it's 20 below zero either, and I don't blame them.
yeah.
I mean, they come down the night before the storm and plug it in, you know, so it's ready to go, they don't leave it plugged in all the time. That's bad,
It's diesel.
Why couldn't they leave it plugged in?
just uses a lot of electricity for nothing.
Well, I guess.
It's an option, you can ask them, but
I guess we gotta do something right away, so, I mean, I think, when we rent it, do we have to rent it for a period of months, or can we go month to month? Let's say we rent it for a month,
I think these are monthly figures.
Yeah.
I mean, you can rent it monthly, I
Yeah.
think you can do that.
but do we have to make a commitment for 3 months, or can we just go month to month?
I have
Well,
the
it
figures all-
says you can rent one for 4 weeks.
Okay.
And I got 2 different models here, I guess they're models.
yeah, it was on my phone.
What, is that what that is? Is the 2 different skid steers listed there?
Right, I think-
One's probably a bigger one, it's more expensive, and it's,
Yeah.
One was tracks and one was wheels.
Yeah, I think.
No,
those
they're
are
both,
correct.
they both have tracks, it
Both
says here.
have tracks.
But anyway, so I would say, let's rent it for a month, and then perhaps we can look into what's on the market for used item. And if we can find something used that's, gonna get the job done for, what, $5,000 or something like that, does that make sense? Then we, you know,
We'll take it out of the facility.
that gets us by for, who knows, maybe a longer period of time. And then, you know, then, next year, or when we figure out what our sidewalk needs are, and if we wanna, you know, invest in something that can accept a snow blower attachment or whatever our needs are down there, a sweeper, I don't know, then, we could potentially trade in this used unit for something like that, if we wanted to.
I'll tell you what, if we're authorized to rent, I'll rent it, get it rented, and then, we'll be looking into it over the next month.
Yeah.
Talking about what's going on, or before that.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll have numbers for the next board meeting.
Yeah. How about,
The other question I have, and I asked Les a little bit about, where are you gonna keep this? Right now, there's no room in the,
I know, you don't wanna put the sausage in.
no. If I was renting, I wouldn't want it in there, but,
room in the garage.
no, not with 2 trucks in there.
so do you just leave it on the side of the building and throw a tarp over it?
Yeah, something like that, you know.
We'll work with that.
I mean, it just needs to be, but he doesn't need it over by the shop either,
No,
because then he's gotta walk all the way back to get the tractor. Gotta leave it over there,
no,
We'll
maybe
leave it
like,
over there.
We'd have to plug it
I'll have to
in.
figure out something.
Lawrence leave theirs outside now.
Yeah.
So they probably could do that,
I think we'd have to plug it in, you know.
they don't need it.
Yeah, but he's gonna be using it, you know, probably on a more daily
Those are
basis.
details that
Yeah.
I'll let him.
We'll work that out. So I guess I would make the motion that we, approve the rental,
Until we resolve.
until we resolve, other issues, and maybe Rick and I and anybody who, or
Yeah.
Les can put our nose to the ground, ear to the ground, or whatever you wanna say, and try to find perhaps a used unit that would serve.
I would go with the tractor too, the least expensive one.
Yep.
But he needs to go to make sure it will reach the truck.
Yeah, I know, I thought I had put it here, but apparently I didn't. The analysis I've done on this, between tractor and skid steer,
Yeah.
the issue about the, dumping it in the front of it, I thought it was in here, but I guess I didn't get it in here.
Which one are you thinking of renting?
The one in here for, I think the tractor for 4,000.
We were just talking about skid steer.
I wouldn't,
You wouldn't do a skid steer.
no, I wouldn't spend extra money for skid steer, just low sand. No.
As long as the tractor can reach the truck, you know.
Alright, I'm looking, we're talking about a tractor, not a
Yes.
skid steer. Okay, that's what I thought.
All right, so I amend my motion to,
Hang on. Before you do it, let's.
Just for clarification, are those numbers for the season or are they by the month?
It's,
The estimates for, those estimates, the 4,000, is that what you're talking about? That was by the season, we used a 5-month season.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, go ahead.
so I'd amend my motion to approve rental of a tractor, not a skid steer, on a monthly basis
Until we resolve.
until we resolve the issue.
I'll second that.
no,
And I was asleep at the wheel.
I'm not asleep, I'm thinking, look at reading this.
Okay,
Any more discussion?
Well, just a thought, we've already got a skid steer over at the transfer station.
I know.
And it's been pounded pretty hard over the years. Maybe there's some nourishment for consideration, yeah.
Maybe. But anyways, for right now, any more discussion? If not, I entertain a vote, all in favor? 4 and 2 absent, thank you. Now we're at the library trustee designation.
Maureen Kibler resigned because of a change, I guess it's the
yeah, her mother-in-law's ill in Texas, she's my neighbor.
How long has she been on?
Oh, she's been there a year or so? 2 years?
I would say
Irregardless,
she's been on for 1 year, cause I think she came partway through a term. Her term ends in December of 2019, so we would have to find someone to fill the
So we
remainder.
send her a letter.
Yeah, we'll send them.
Yeah.
Accept
Thank
the
you for her service.
resignation
I make a motion, we accept her resignation
with regret.
with regret.
I'll second it.
She's been a fabulous addition to the board, but the family needs to come first.
All in favor? 3 and 2 absent, thank you.
Thank you.
Setting a date for the voting on the 2019 budget.
Right, well, you have the preview, you got, in the works, we're cleaning up the budget, there's a number of things, we're waiting for the December, the petition on warrant articles to come in December. And, then there's some other things that I'm doing, the voting on the actual budget, which is on the warrant articles. But I'd like to know if you'd like to meet on a weekend, perhaps the second weekend in December, if that's possible, or some point in time, so that we can get the thing pretty much finalized, with the exception of a few things that might need addressing at that hearing in the second week of January.
How long do you think the meeting's gonna take?
Well, you've heard the entire budget, you know where you want that changed. Most of those warrant articles will be pretty much set up the way that you commented on. So then it should be just a matter of voting unless there are a lot of questions. I don't see a lot of questions. But then again, you know,
Are we
that's,
gonna have every department head come in again?
we're gonna have all of the questions.
And it's a public meeting.
Yeah.
So
You
you could
think
have,
we really gotta do it on a weekend, we can't do it an evening?
We can try evening, but I know that in the past, we've always done it on the weekends before when I was here, but
We
in the
did,
past, you did it in the evenings and I don't know.
we did it because we had the department heads in there explaining the budget, and we've already pretty much done that, correct?
They'll still be here though, because I want.
Yeah, oh, definitely. But I mean, I don't think it's gonna be as much of depth as.
So, I mean, I didn't hear a lot of negatives. There were a couple issues they wanted me to check out.
I don't think there's gonna be much negative until we get to the end of the budget and see that we're too high. That's when we're gonna have to start.
That's always been the issue.
That's right. That's when we gotta make some fast decisions and
Mhm.
the wants and needs are gonna have to change.
Okay, so you tell me when you want
Am I
the
correct on
second,
this?
third weekend, third night? It'll be an off board meeting, so,
It'd be a what meeting?
That weekend.
or do you want it on during a board meeting?
No, it's apt to take a while. Just especially if the public's here and we might have comments.
Do you wanna do it on the weekend?
No, I don't want to, but I think we have to.
I know.
I'm available on the 8th of December, which is a Saturday. How about the rest of you?
Did we do it on a Sunday before?
Yeah, but I'm not available on the 9th.
No, we've got places to be.
Uh-huh.
I have to go to church,
Yes, right.
Yeah.
and I do have an appointment, I have something on that day.
Yes, you do.
So it's the 8th or the 15th, is that what you're saying?
Well, it's up to you.
Is the-
Why couldn't we do it a couple nights? Then we wouldn't have to, we're in the holiday season here, let's, maybe we could do just a couple evenings, even if it took a couple.
Yep.
Let's try something different for a change, instead of sitting here all day.
Okay, so our regular board meeting's on the 4th and the 18th. So you wanna try to do it like the second week, the 10th through the 14th sometime? And what, you wanna go for 2 nights? Is that what you said?
If we need it. I mean, we can start earlier.
Yeah, we start at 6 or, that budget meeting that we had, that only took, what, about 3 hours? didn't it?
Yeah, and I mean, I
And that
think-
was with some questions and some
That was a preview and,
preview.
certainly you weren't voting.
Yeah. So if we're gonna sort of, we've already, whack the bushes down, so to speak, then we can, kind of, it seems though we could do it again some evening from 6 to 9, if we have to.
let's go on the 11th.
Do it on the
That
11th? That's fine with me, should we have an alternative date, or what, in case other,
Well, I've got to check, when is Melanie gonna be out?
she's out, I looked on the calendar there, she's out this week, and then she's out the, Christmas week, she's out.
Okay, so she's out Christmas, I didn't think she was out in that period. But
Yeah.
I wanted to be sure.
How about the 11th and 12th?
We can
I
set it
just-
up for the 11th and 12th, if we don't need the 12th. we just-
Yeah, that's fine, that's a good plan.
I just assume do it all in one day,
Well, let's do
so
it.
that's my vote. But if you wanna do it the 11th and 12th,
Well, we'll do it the 11th and 12th, but if you get it done on the 11th,
Yeah, we
You
wouldn't
don't
have to
need the
even,
12th.
it'd be just one night.
And then your weekend's free.
I mean, we're gonna have another one when we get the total numbers.
you know,
To see
that'll
what
be,
we're gonna, that'll be in January, correct?
yeah, right, at the same meeting at the hearing.
Yeah.
So then our
You have the
No, we
third,
had it before.
okay.
just a point of reference, technically, our first meeting in January would be on the 1st.
Well, it's the same way with, Christmas, it's on the, 25th, so we're gonna have to move both of those.
Well, no, our
No,
the
4th and the 18th.
4th and the
Oh,
18th.
geez, Why was I saying?
I
Yeah.
don't
you
know.
said the other day too.
So-
Mine, I said it the other day too.
Do we,
You're right.
But we-
maybe, would it make sense to make our January meeting the 8th and the 22nd, or no? Can we make that change, or?
I think
We meet the
we do
first
that
and third.
anyway, so.
You meet the first and third, so you can move the first meeting
But not
to some other date.
Yeah, but not the 3rd.
We could go the 8th and the 22nd.
The select board.
But then we'd be moving not only the first meeting, but the second meeting too.
Do you wanna move both those meetings? Essentially, you meet the first and third.
Yeah.
Because the first is on the first,
Mhm.
you can go to the second or third.
Yeah.
Have that meeting,
We
meet
can
on
do the second, yeah.
Yeah, we
and then we
do
could meet,
the second and then do the
You
15th.
gonna be sober enough for that?
well, that's afterwards, the evening.
Oh,
You can do the rest of
I
it.
should have all day to
I'll be grumpy.
Yeah, but you don't know it.
So you wanna start, the 11th and 12th at, 6, 5:30?
6.
Okay, and then on the first meeting in January, you wanna move that to the second?
Second.
Yep.
Yeah, that's fine.
We gotta put that word out. And I'll get that word out to the, everyone on the
Are you saying the
First
meeting's
what, the
January
first select board
2nd or the
meeting is
second
January 2nd?
Tuesday?
gonna be
No, it's
January.
January 2nd.
The select board meeting.
Yes,
It's gonna be on Wednesday the 2nd instead of Tuesday because of the holiday.
then we can get back to the second and the 15th,
Right,
Mm-hmm.
and then in between or slightly after the one.
whatever we gotta do. Yep.
But then when is the figures the end of the year figures for the budget?
We should,
When would our first budget meeting need to be in January?
right, all of that, at the end of the year, will be all set up, and then we should have all those numbers that first week, I would assume.
Even if we had to do it the second week,
So, I mean, we're gonna have to have
Trustee
another
numbers will be in,
budget meeting the second week of January?
probably.
Probably. We don't wanna set that now.
tentatively now.
I don't want to set that.
No.
Okay.
Let's wait and see when we get our figures in.
Alright, so the 11th and 12th of December,
Mm-hmm.
budget meetings. At what time?
6,
6 to 9.
Unless it's the planning board, and then we'll go to midnight. Unless we wanna be like the planning board, and
no, that's
go right up until
We'll
midnight.
let me just, so,
There may be a problem, but I don't know yet. I'll know more after the 4th, whether I'm gonna be here or there. But you can go without me, that's fine.
Yeah, I'm sure we can.
Yes,
Could I respectfully request that the library budget be on that Tuesday, because Wednesday I work by myself. I wouldn't be able to get here before 6.
Yeah, let's put that on the,
Whereas
Yeah,
Tuesday
well,
I've
we're hoping to
got
get-
coverage, so I would be able
I
to.
think
come
we'll be through the.
what time do you close?
On Wednesday, 6 o'clock, so I wouldn't get up here until 6:15, 6:20.
If it needs to go into that.
We can work it around if we
Yeah.
have to, yeah.
we'll get it in.
I know there's been a couple times where you guys have started discussing it before I got here. I'd like to be present.
No,
Okay.
we'll try to see that doesn't happen.
Thank you.
Okay, so those are our budget meetings.
All right, are we all set with that?
Mhm.
That may change, but who knows? All right, are you all set with that, Jenny?
Come on.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
you.
Anything else? Yes.
Same to you. All right, I guess we're down to the warrant, am I correct? Now let Michael be entertaining. Thank you, have a good night.
Night. Warrant 140,
Yeah, there we go.
for $604, $604,440.46.
I'll second that.
Questions?
Yep. Anybody got it?
I do.
I should have known.
It's my job, isn't it? Okay. Thank you. Just curious, what's CES Incorporated? And what do they monitor?
They monitor the landfill, that's civil engineering services, I think is the,
What do they monitor? Just,
the wells of
Stevenage.
the landfill.
The old landfill.
oh, the old landfill.
Well, they do both, but I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
they're different periods.
Question on, there's several here that have to do with the dam repair.
Yep.
The figures does that reflect our share of the total?
No, that's the total,
Why are we paying it all?
because it comes out, we manage the money for the dams.
Okay, but at some point, we will be reimbursed.
They've already paid that money, that's in the dams fund. They
Oh, it's in
pay-
the dam, it comes out of the dam, okay, I see, thank you. The same, yeah, Liberty Bill's the same question I had.
Yeah. One was for some work that they did
Yeah.
on,
No, I'm aware, but I just, yeah, okay, I think that's all I got, thank you.
Ernie?
I know, Kathy had emailed, Melanie about, sort of running totals and.
yeah, I was, if Kathy was here, I was
Yeah.
gonna respond, to actually, I meant to talk to Melanie, the other, get those current up-to-date
Yeah.
numbers out.
One of her questions was how much do we have tied up in Brightside now? And I mean, it seems like every.
We have about,
Warrant.
the last I knew, right around 13.
Okay, that's just my question. It keeps adding up,
It does keep adding up.
Yeah.
But that's the nature of the beast.
Yeah, it is, yeah. be great if we can get some of
Anybody
that
else got
back.
anything?
I don't know if we will.
To answer your question on that, we cannot recover money that is spent defending our borders.
Okay.
That's not recoverable. Violations, we taking the enforcement action, we can recover the enforcement, the cost of that, the legal services cost. However, so that in the penalty phase of that whole thing,
Yeah.
is where we look at what the extent of the injury to the town is, so to speak.
Yeah.
And then we can recover that cost as well.
Yeah.
But we can't recover.
Yeah, but if we could recover it, so. I mean, technically, he's.
Technically, right now, it's in limbo,
It's
because
in
we
limbo.
don't know whether the
Yeah.
court's gonna rule in his favor or not.
But if he, if it hadn't gone to court and he had just, you know, been assessed a penalty, it's so much a day or something, isn't it?
Well, the penalty, there are penalties per day or whatever, certainly a maximum that the court would
Yeah.
seem reasonable, if you can take it to court.
No,
Yeah.
but I think we're getting off track.
Yeah, we are.
Let's
Okay.
get back to the warrant thing.
Here we go.
I was reading this and that was big, well, I mean, listen. I got a question on the Maine Municipal Association, the cancel class.
$10?
Yeah.
Anthony, I think Anthony resigned, and we.
Had already paid for it?
Yeah, we'd already paid for that, probably a
Okay.
month or two in advance.
Good answer. That was quick.
That was it.
Something else I saw, I guess it was, I'm fine. I didn't entertain a motion for this.
Ready to
Oh, I
vote?
did, yeah. I didn't entertain a vote for
Ready
this.
to vote.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
All right.
All in favor? We have 3 and 2 absent. Thank you. Town managers update?
Really quick, we got the information on the public-private pool that I sent out from MMA. The information indicated that in fact there were requirements and that we should check with DHHS. I did check with DHHS. They're going to get back to me on the timing of the requirement to implement the chairman. I told them I needed it relatively soon, and they said they'd get back to me soon. The annual report is coming up, and the second notice has gone out on getting the reports in, the annual report. Remember that we have memorial and dedications, and so I have asked Cheryl to put together a list, and we'll get it out to you by email on the folks that passed away during the year that you want to do memorials. The question is dedication, and that's something that I would entertain input on it through email or whatever. And
Am I on the list?
Could be.
Because I'm not, if not on the list, I
on the
don't care.
deceased list, I don't think they're on the deceased
Then
list.
I don't care.
I think my doctor thought I was when I got done with it.
So that'll be information. We're going to be doing interviews for the sexton and, well, for lessons assistant. And that'll be on Monday, November 26th. We asked him, and again, being Randy Markins, and we've got Bruce, myself, and Les. Bruce will represent the transfer station as well as Ernie. Kenny can't make one of the interviews, that's why he's not going to participate in it. He can make it, it's just that he knows the person and he found out. I'll be setting up that initial meeting for the fire merger group between Belgrade and Rome, hopefully for the 26th or 27th. I didn't get a couple of Lincoln's emails, I don't know why I didn't, but I sent him a third, he says, I told you 3 times already, but anyhow. There's the Real Heroes nomination, the Red Cross request for nomination for the Real Heroes. Mike responded that we maybe want to put in the 2 people or 3 or 4 people that participated in the rescue down on Longport and Laurel.
It took a lot of people for that.
Well, then maybe we should bring them to the party.
I think that'd be the.
Okay, so I'll just put the name in for
I
that.
think you gotta put in that, because there was more than one.
Well, yeah,
there too.
oh, there were, maybe it's too complicated. We'll see.
Yeah, put the department in there, they can.
Yeah. Okay, so there's that. Okay. The other thing I want to just quickly briefly on, December 4th, I won't be here for the board meeting. I have other activities planned. We'll try to keep that board meeting light, and if I need someone here, I'll.
Will you get the information back to us on the things that were this, Ernie's petition, in other words, you're gonna go and have
I'm
it,
gonna get that as soon as I can get it, I wanna get that out of the way.
but you'll have it for us to read.
Oh, on the fourth, I certainly hope so.
I won't be here on the fourth either, probably.
Well, hopefully you'll have a better situation on that,
Maybe I'll have a test. No, I'm better.
but that's it.
Maybe you need a bit.
Yeah, just to let you know, I probably will not be here on the fourth. I'm gonna be in Boston again, so I'll test.
Good luck.
Thank you. That's better. I'm a lot better. Has anybody else got anything they wanna add to this? If not, I would entertain a vote to adjourn this meeting.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Then moved and seconded, and all in favor? Thank you.
Okay, you go straight home.
I don't think you have to second
I
that.
don't think so.